DN Media and Narrative Land Publishing present Fire Destroyer, written by D.N. Leo, narrated by Erin Bateman. Chapter 1, Crossworld Zone, the Multiverse, 10 years ago. "Lyla, get back down here," said Cadmon. Lyla hung from a giant black rock that protruded from the muddy black surface outside the City of Death in Zelok. She winced as the boiling heat steamed up from the ground. She tried to peek as far as she could into the horizon. When she saw nothing but endless hills of rock, she turned and winked at her twin brother. "We're in a holo game, Cadmon, remember? Are you afraid you're going to lose your sandcastle?" "This feels wrong. My sandcastle and your wooden fortress shouldn't get us this far into Zelok. We haven't seen any creatures yet. That's a worry. It's too quiet for my liking." "You just want to fight, Cadmon." "I want to practice my combat skills. That's fundamentally different from mere fighting." "And you think our bets will give us a chance to hone our combat skills?" Lyla gestured toward the quiet hills of rock. "Well, apparently there's a silent army waiting for us. We get what we paid for, I suppose. We shouldn't have placed toys as bets. What a waste of time." She slid down from the top of the rock to the mud below. Her feet landed on a bouncy black substance that covered the ground. She looked at Cadmon. Cadmon seemed to share the same thought. He stomped his foot hard on the ground and felt the bouncy effect of what they had thought was just mud. He spoke through his teeth. "I'm pretty sure we're not in the virtual environment of the game. This is an actual combat setting." Lyla felt a knot of anxiety growing in her stomach. She didn't have the psychic ability her mother did, but she had a good gut instinct. Or at least she thought so. "Maybe we're being overly cautious. We couldn't possibly get to this real combat level with the bets we made, unless someone figured out who we are." Cadmon shook his head. "The game rules don't work that way. Being prince and princess of Udays doesn't give our bets any more weight than Gale's, and he's the computer genius in Damon Gate, so he should know best." Cadmon trailed off. "Where is Gale?" They turned toward the nook formed by two large rocks where Gale had been sitting a short while ago. He wasn't there. They heard a throaty hum echoing in the air. The black ground vibrated slightly. "What's that?" Lyla asked. "Creatures," Cadmon muttered. "Gale!" she called out. They rushed to the other side of the rocks and saw Gale walking toward the Black Rock Hills. "What are you doing, Gale?" Cadmon yelled out. Gale turned around and looked at them. He didn't need to say anything. Lyla knew what had happened. Gale was a genius in robotic computers, but he had the mind of a warrior. He loved conquering new realms in the virtual environment, and he loved world creation. The holo game was an environment and a world in itself. It was governed by an independent council. Any creature in the multiverse could participate by placing bets and challenges. If a creature wanted to take a bet from a challenger, it had to place a matching bet to accept the game challenge. After the challenge was accepted, all involved parties had to engage and play until the game concluded. "Whatever it was that you bet, we can still withdraw from the game, Gale. Our bets and challenges haven't been accepted yet," Cadmon said. "I think Gale's has been," Lyla muttered. Gale waved his hands, gesturing for them to go away. "Leave you two. I can handle this." The ground shook a bit harder. "Handle my ass," Cadmon muttered. "Are you ready, Lyla?" "Always." She turned on the game betting function in her wrist unit. "You're not serious," Cadmon said, but did the same with his own unit. "Bastard. He couldn't help but bet in a world he created." "He's dreamed about this his whole life, Cadmon. Without our credentials, he wouldn't even be eligible to place a bet at this caliber. We've got to help him. So are we going all in?" "We don't have a choice, do we? What have you got?" Lyla showed Cadmon her game plans. He nodded. "That'll work." The ground shook even harder. Gale had pulled his power sword and was waiting for whatever was coming at him from the bottom of a canyon on the other side of the rock hills. Lyla admired Gale. He was a free spirit. He loved life, loved technology, and loved exploring new worlds. Unlike Cadmon and herself.
Sample complete. Ready to continue?